Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got part 2. That's right. So yesterday we had part 1 of going over all of the new OP-14 leaders, seeing some early gameplay, some first impressions of the first 3 leaders I went over, which was, I think it was Crocodile, Gecko, Moria, and Boa Hancock. And now in today's video, part 2, we're going to be going over the other 4. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let me go ahead and lay out the video for you real quick. First things first, we're going to be heading over to the sim, and we're going to be checking out 4 games, one of each of the new leaders that we did not cover in part 1, which is going to be in no particular order. It's going to be green Dracula Mihawk, purple Doflamingo, red Trafalgar Law, and blue Jinbe. Okay, so we're going to be doing that first, and then after that, we're going to head over to the sim and break down the deck lists that I'm working with in today's video. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. This video is brought to you by Nin Garden. Pre-orders are now open for the Journey's End playmat featuring the Pirate King, with a 1 in 20 chance to pull the special Wanted Bounty variant. Plus, the Chaos and Crown collection, including the Berserk and Absolute Ruler playmats, are available at a discounted price. Nin Garden is also introducing their new soft cloth hybrid playmats, now available with select designs. And don't forget to use the code TheVVTheory at the checkout to get 8% off on your next order. Alright guys, first game up we have green Dracula Mihawk versus red blue Caesar Clown. Now understand guys, you're probably going to see plenty of mistakes, and these aren't exactly the best games ever lined up. These are just the first games I was able to put out with each of these new leaders. And we also don't have access to all of the new OP-14 cards just yet, okay? So, if you see any kind of mistakes from me or my opponent, please be nice. Please consider the circumstances here, the situation. Now, let's get the volume off, and let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. So, green Dracula Mihawk versus red-blue Caesar Clown. Okay, starting off with the stage is a good start, guys. That is very nice. It has an on-play to draw a card, so it replaces itself right away. And then at the end of your turn, you get to stand a Dawn as active. Okay, so we're going to play out this Kuro here. And remember, this is my first time really playing, you know, with this leader and with this deck here. I did not realize for Dracula Mihawk's effect, you have to have a cost 5 or higher character on the board. Okay. So, now we're on a 5 Dawn turn. Red-blue Caesar Clown played out the Marco last turn. And now we can play out this 5-cost new TCG that allows us to rest, rest 2 cards in order to, or excuse me, yeah, rest 2 of your cards to give this character plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay, I don't think we're going to do that in this situation here. We kind of messed up on a few things there. We could have just swung for 7 and then buffed the TCG, because then it would have been a lot harder for Caesar Clown to deal with. However, TCG also has built-in removal prevention. Okay, Caesar Clown's going to swing in for 5 here. We're just going to take that. We get this Zorro a little bit late, but hey, better late than never. We're still going to play this out, and then we're going to go from there. So we're going to use our Dracula Mihawk's leader effect here to rest our stage to stand 3 Dawn as active. And now we're going to rest 2 of that to give TCG plus 2,000 power until the end of my opponent's next turn. We're going to swing for 8. They're going to block with Marco to draw 2. We're going to swing for 8 more, and I'm going to leave 1 Dawn active for an event. But at the same time, remember the stage stands a Dawn, so I probably could have swung for 8 and then 9, but either way our opponent took the 8,000 power hit, or the 8k hit. One thing to also consider, guys, when it comes to using these 1-cost events, most of them nowadays with these 1-cost 3k counter events, most of them can only protect your leader. Okay, so make sure you read the card very carefully. Okay, so they Gravity Blade my Kuro blocker and my Zorro. That was unfortunate. And now they're going to swing 7 into 6, reducing my power by 2,000 with the Trafalgar Law. We're going to 2k, and then we're going to 2k again to get out of that. We had just enough counter power to save our character. You'd love to see it. Okay, my opponent has about, 9 or 10 cards in their hand, so we're going to have to do things exactly right here. They do have a rested character, and I think what we're going to do, notice this card in my hand here. This is the one I meant to mouse over. This card here is called For Fun. It is a 1-cost 3K counter for your leader, but it also has main rest 3 of your cards to KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with 7,000 base power or less. So we're going to be able to rest this card down right now, or pay. It's 4 altogether, right? Pay 1 and then plus 3. So we're going to be able to pay 4 and KO this Trafalgar Law, but they have built-in KO prevention as well. They're going to get minus 2,000 for the turn, but then we're going to have an easier time attacking into it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and use that effect, and then we're going to KO the Trafalgar Law. It's going to get minus 2,000. We're going to go 7 into 5, and then 8 into 5, hoping for the best here. If they save it, it's not the worst case scenario, but they were not able to save it, so that's really good for us. Okay, we stand a Dawn at the end of the turn with our stage, with a Coffin Boat. And now it's back to the Red-Blue Caesar Clown's turn. Let's see what they choose to do here. So they play out the new Zoro. They're able to take out our Tashigi with that. That new Zoro is very nice. Okay, and they're going to smash in for 6 or 7K, whatever that was. We're going to take it, I believe, and go down to 2 life. Alright, so what do we want to do here, guys? I think we want to establish this Zoro, and then we want to establish this Perona. The Perona doesn't do anything here. It's just meant to be a big body. Okay, and we do have another Perona in hand if we need that for later. So we're going to swing for 7, and then I think we're going to swing for 8. Okay, they countered out, so there's almost some idea to swing for 8,000 into this Zoro now. Let's see if they choose. Yeah, we swing for 8,000 into the Zoro. We caught them, guys. We caught them slipping there a little bit. They used all the counter in their hand to defend from that 7K hit. Okay, here we go. Our board is looking very strong, so let's see what our opponent can do here. They play out a Marco and another Marco, but guys, I have another Perona in hand. Let me go backwards real quick, and let's talk about what this Perona does. So let me hit play. Okay, and now pause. Now, let's talk about this Perona. It's a 5-cost 6K with a 1K counter. The stats are already great on it. And then up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. I have another one in my hand. I have the one on the board that I was playing for tempo. I have another one in my hand. So you see these 2 blockers he just put down? They're not going to be blockers next turn, right? So that's going to be very scary for my opponent. Here we go. And he doesn't know about it, guys. He doesn't know I have this card. So he plays out the double Marco, swings for 7. We take it. And here we go, guys. Here we go. We're going to be able to, we're going to be able to play out the Perona here. Make it where, sorry, those Marcos can't do anything. And now we're going to be able to swing for 7. And we still have our stage. We can rest our stage to stand 3 of our Dawn as active and get even more attack power here. Okay, so I swing for 7. I swing for 7. He takes this, he counters out of this one. We're going to use the stage here to stand up this Dawn, and we're coming in for 8 and then 9. Okay, now I'm hoping for the best here, because if he could have survived, pause, let's talk about it. If he could have survived here, we actually had an option. So hear me out, guys. The game was not just over on the spot if he survives, because those Marcos cannot rest until the start of my next turn, right? Or excuse me, until the end of my opponent's next turn. So he can't even attack in with those Marcos. And we have the Tashigi, which I believe you can stand up at the end of your turn by trashing a card from your hand. And we would stand a Dawn as active with the Coffin Boat at the end of our turn. So we would have a 1-cost 3K, 2 2Ks, a blocker, and a life. So we were not actually at jeopardy of losing, even if he somehow did survive that final 9,000 power attack. Green Dracula Mihawk, very strong, guys. Okay, next game. We got a game of Purple Doflamingo versus Green Dracula Mihawk. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x. And let me tell you guys right now, I'm probably going to talk more about this a little bit later when we get to the to the end of the video. Purple Doflamingo is no joke. You guys probably already knew that, but Purple Doflamingo is no joke. So we're going to be going second here. Excuse me, guys. We're going to be going second, and we play out the Sugar. We search a card up. They attack 7 into it. They played out the Dracula Mihawk 3-cost, and then they were able to cheat out this 5K. We're going to play out the 4-cost Sugar, ramp a Dawn, swing for 5. Let's see if he wants to save this card, which I actually want him to save this card. I want him to go down in hand size. Okay, so he does. He does actually save the card with the 1K counter. We're going to pass the turn back. And guys, we have 2 different on KOs on the board, but we're probably just going to use one of them here. Okay, we take this first hit, and then I think he's going to go swing 6, swing 7. Yep, swing 6. So we'll go ahead and 2K counter out of this one. And for the 7K attack here, we're actually just going to redirect the attack into Dellinger, which is going to give us the Dawn right back on KO. And we're going to get to do a top 5 search. We grab Monet. Okay, so 7 Dawn here. I think we're going to play out the Monet. We have quite a few options. We're going to swing 6 into 4. I want one of these characters off the board. And then I'm going to play out the Monet. That's going to give us, that's going to allow us to ramp a Dawn, and we've got a pretty technical play lined up for next turn. So, guys, let me go back and see real quick if I mouse over the Monet so you guys can see what it does. We will talk about this card more in just a minute. Let me see. Pause. Okay. I'm going to read it even if you guys can't see it. It says, on play, if your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. And then on KO, draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. Then add 2 Dawn cards from your Dawn deck and set them as rested. Okay, so here we go. All right, what just happened there? I got rid of the cards there. Sorry, guys, we had to do a little bit of a replay. So we play out the Monet here, and then we're going to pass the turn back with 2 Dawn active. Guys, right now we're at 8 Dawn. So I want to go to 10 Dawn next turn, right? And we have the 8 Dawn, but I also want to use my Noro Beam Sword. Well, we're going to be able to do that. Watch this. So we are going, first things first, we are going to use the Noro Beam Sword, I believe. Yep. And we're going to have to return a Dawn, and we're going to get out of that 6K attack and rest his other Kinemon with the Noro Beam Sword. Then they're going to play out Tashigi. They're going to rest it to stand 3 Dawn as active. Now they're going to swing for 7 into 5. We're going to redirect that attack into the Monet. So we went Dawn -2 this turn. Dawn -1 from Leader Effect and Dawn -1 from Noro Beam Sword. However, the Monet gave us 2 Dawn right back. We're back up to 10. Or now we're going straight to 10. Okay, we have another Noro Beam Sword in our hand, but I do want to play out this Rosinante so that I can stand up Dawn at the end of the turn and cash in on this and draw 2 cards here. Okay, very nice. We get into a I can't quite Everwhite is the name of that new purple event there. I think it's a 1-cost 3K with a main to ramp a Dawn. So we're going to swing 5. They rest down the Sugar. That's fine. We play out a 1-cost Sugar, and we're going to do a search here. I think we're just going to grab a 2K counter. I just want to play a little bit defensive now because the game is starting to shift into my favor. Guys, I think Purple Doflamingo is just going to be a very strong control-style deck. You just want to curve out slowly over the game, establish a disgusting board state, and then you go from there. Okay, they're actually going to use a Dead Man's Game right here. Very nice. Very nice. They're going to use Dead Man's Game, and now they're going to go 6 into 1. I think we're actually going to redirect this attack here over to the Sugar, which is going to allow us to play out a 5-cost character from our hand. Or I think it's a 6,000 power or less character or a 5-cost or less character, which we play out the Rosinante, trashing a card to draw 2, trashing an event to draw 2. So then they swing into the other Sugar there, okay, and then, so remember guys, pause, sorry, real quick. They attacked into 1 Sugar, and we redirected it to the other Sugar with the on KO, because that's a card I don't think they would attack into normally. Then they attack into our Sugar again, we just let that go, and then they attack into us for 10, and then we're just going to take that. Now it's our turn, we have double Rosinante on the board, and my opponent's in a lot of trouble. It's going to be 10 into 8 is the first order of business here. Yeah, guys, we're just going to beat our opponent down now. So we swing for 7. That Kinemon has an on KO to rest down a card. Very strong. And notice that, guys. Let me go back to the Kinemon real quick. Watch this. So I'm going to hit play and then pause. On KO, rest up to one of your opponent's cards. Period. So I don't know why my opponent did not rest one of my Dawn down. But whatever the case is, we only needed 5 Dawn for this play we're about to do. Okay, so we play out the Senior Pink. We're going to go Dawn -1. We're going to grab I think the Evil White here, or the Evil or Ever White, whatever that is. It's hard to see from here, guys, like with the resolution and everything. And then we play out a Dellinger, and we stand all of our Dawn back pretty much. And now, guys, what is he going to do in this situation? I don't understand what he's supposed to do here. He uses, I never bother to remember faces. The Faces of Trash is the name of that card. He rests down our character, and he's just going to go 13 at face. Okay, I'm going to ramp a Dawn back with the 8 cost Doflamingo, and then I'm going to Dawn -1, push the attack over to Dellinger, and I'm going to do a top 5 search, and ramp the Dawn back. Okay, well, guys, now we're just going to swing for 7, 4 times, and then 9 once, and then we're going to pass after putting down a character on the board. Brutal. Absolutely brutal, guys. We're in full control of this game now. This game is over. There's pretty much no way out of this one. Our board is just too strong at this point. Our board is just simply too strong. Okay, let's see what he chooses to do. He's going to play out the Dracula Mihawk blocker, but we have the 10-cost Doflamingo in hand to just KO that blocker and just get past him here. Okay, he does play out the Perona afterwards, though, to lock down 2 of my attacks. That's really solid. Okay, we're going to Dawn -1 and redirect the attack over to the Dellinger, and we're going to be able to do a top 5 search from that. Very nice. Okay, right here, guys, we're going to play out the Doffy, which is Dawn -3. We're going to KO the Dracula Mihawk. We're going to swing 5, 6, 9, and then we're going to pass the turn. That's the order of business here, guys. I don't know how he's supposed to get out of this. We do not attack in at all, actually, at the end, because I didn't want him to draw an extra card. Pulse, good gain to my opponent. That was a... I would say Purple Doflamingo is very good against Dracula Mihawk. I think it will be. Purple Doflamingo might be somewhat of a counter. Maybe not. You never know, guys. You know, all of us are new at these new decks right now from OP-14. Maybe my opponent's build is not good enough. Maybe he doesn't have the cards in his deck that he needs just yet because they're not available yet on the sim. Because remember, guys, all the cards from OP-14 are not available just yet on the sim. But I will say this, just considering how Purple Doflamingo works, the mechanics of the build, if they attack in for 13, 14, 15, it doesn't matter what, I can just Dawn -1 and move your attack to one of my other characters I just don't care about. You know, or if they want to attack for a really annoying 7, okay, I'll Dawn -1 over to my 9,000 power character, and now it's just Dawn -1 to get your attack. So it does seem like Doflamingo is pretty well geared to beat Dracula Mihawk, but we'll see if it stays that way, you know, when everything's live. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. We got a game of Red Trafalgar Law. Okay, volume's off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Pretty fast game, and of course, Red Trafalgar Law is meant to be more of a aggro-style deck, I believe. And I'll tell you this right now. When I was building this deck, it just felt very incomplete. Again, I hate to be repetitive, guys. I hate to sound like a broken record, but we don't have access to all the cards just yet on the sim. This deck, this leader, and everything felt very, very incomplete. Okay, so here we go. We play out a Basil Hawkins, which has an on KO to do a top 4 or top 5 search and play out a 2-cost, I think it's a 2-cost or lower Supernova type character. Okay, so the Gecko Moria played out the Perona to lock down my attack, and then KO'd it with the leader effect to lock down my other attack. Seems good, but they're going to play out a Sindri from some type of life trigger there. They must be bricked, guys. They're down to 1 life. What's going on? So we swing for 5 into the 1K, and now we're going to play out the Cavendish. Pause, let me explain the Cavendish real quick. That's a 2-cost 2K with a 1K counter that says if this character has 5,000 or more power, it gets rush. So that's how we were able to swing in for 5 right away with that character. And now, guys, my board's completely full, and my opponent, like I said, this is a fast game. Okay, they're going to make it respectable here. They're going to play out the Perona, locking down my Zoro. They're going to play out the, then they're going to KO the Perona to lock down my Beppo, which has a win attacking. If this character has 5,000 power or more, I can give 2 Rested Dawn to a character or leader. Okay, so we're going to go 2 into 2. They're going to let that go. And now, guys, I think we're just going to poke right here. Watch this, guys. I'm just doing a 7. I think I end up doing a 6K poke because I can do 3 6K attacks this turn. And watch this. Takes the hit. So it's like, okay. And then he plays out the Gecko Moria trigger to play out the Absalom. But it's like, okay, if you couldn't get out of that 6K, I seriously doubt you're getting out of this 12 right here. But just to kind of give an idea of how this turn was supposed to go, let me go back real quick to right here. So with 12, I had 7 Dawn still available. So what I was actually going to do was actually just play out the the Zoro, and I was going to swing for 7 and 7. I think that was the order of business there. It was going to be swing 6, swing 7, and then pass the turn. But like I said, guys, I think this Black Yellow Gecko Moria had a really bad pull or something. They were taking so many early hits. And let's see what's in their hand real quick, guys. Let me see something. Watch this. So we swing it for 12. They could not get out of it. Pause. Yeah. Look at this. Not one counter in hand. These are all bricks in their hand. They might have to make some adjustments. With Black Yellow Gecko Moria, there's a lot of really cool cards to run in there. However, you do have to balance out your ratios. If you have too many bricks, yeah, you're going to get a hand like that, right? Okay, good game to my opponent. Now let's move on to the next one. This is the last game here versus Blue Jinbe. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Jinbe, guys, this was a very fun deck to run. Very, very fun deck to run here. Okay, looks like we're going second, which we do want to go second, I believe. And we're going against a green Kuro. Okay. Going against green Kuro, who did get some support recently, right? I think it was either an EB03 or OP-14. I can't remember, but there's a new Kuro card they got. Okay, so we play out the Chew on turn 1. Turn 2, we play out the Marco. We swing for 5. We trash a card from hand and swing for 5 more. That ability, guys, again, remember, it's not a once per turn effect. But that ability to just trash a card from our hand and attack in, you know, for extra numbers is a big deal. That goes a long way, guys. That goes a long way. Okay, Kuro's going to swing for 5. We're just going to block out of that. They play out the Django, and then they restand their Kuro, swing for 5 more. Sure, that's fine. They get rid of Chew, which is not a big deal. However, I will say that was a very good play by them because we were going to play out the Jozu this turn and bounce back one of their cards. But we didn't want to bounce back Django anyway, to be fair. Okay, so pause. Let me hang on. I think we had a play mistake there, guys. Let's talk about this. First of all, we played out the pudding, right? They had what is this? 3, 6. They had 7 cards in hand. So we're actually going to play out the pudding to start our turn off. And watch this. This was a good teachable learning moment here. So I swing for 5, and then I swing for 7. Okay, I was gonna say maybe it was another game that I played. I think in another game I played, guys, I tried to trash a card from my hand to give 2 Dawn to my Marco. You can only give it to a Fishman, I believe. I think it's like Fishman or Merfolk character or leader. Okay, so my opponent plays out Trafalgar Law, pulling back. I think it was a Searcher to play out the Gin or Jin to rest down my stuff, and they're just eating up my board. Okay, so Kuro, guys, just resting down everything and beating up everything. Seems good. Seems really good. So we have 8 Dawn this turn. We're going to start off with the Shirahoshi to draw a card, and then we're going to be able to cheat out a card with the Shirahoshi's effect. It can cheat out a 3-cost or lower Fishman card, I believe. And now we're going to trash a card from our hand, and then watch the... I think this is the turn. Watch this, guys. So I play out the Marco, and then I go to trash a card, the Arlong, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to attach 2 Dawn to my Marco. You can't do that, guys. It can only attach to a Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character. Very teachable moment. It happens. Okay. So they're going to play out the Dead Man's Game and rest both of my blockers that have draw 2 card effects on them. Okay, they're going to swing for 7. We're going to take that. Okay. And what just happened there? I'm sorry. Hang on, guys. We do have to go back real quick. They swing for 7, and we got a trigger. Watch this, guys. Gum Gum Red Rock, and we bottom deck the 4-cost Jin, or however you say his name. Okay, then they're going to swing for 7. We're going to block out with the Shirahoshi, and then they're going to pass it back after playing out the Kashiro. So, guys, I've pretty much learned the hard way here that my opponent has a lot of rest effects, and I can't get around them. So I'm attacking with my characters. We are attacking with all of our characters here. Okay, so I think we're down to 3 life, so this Yamato will let us do a draw 2 cards and attach a Dawn to our leader for free. So we're going to play out both of these Yamatos and do that. We're going to swing for 7 into 6. They block. And now I'm going to trash 2 cards from my hand to give +4 to my Chew. And I'm going to go 7 into 6. He has the 2K counter. Seems good. Okay, now my opponent is actually going to swing for 7. I'm doing the math. I think they're actually going to try to go for lethal here. And I have 8K. I have 4K counter in my hand. Okay, so I can get out of an 8K attack. So I'm thinking, okay, you can only swing for, what, 7, 8? And then I take that hit. Now I have another 2K, so I'm going to take this and force him to go all in. He's going to swing for 8. Then we're gonna counter out, and he's gonna concede there. Good game to my opponent. Kuro's an interesting leader, of course. Nothing to take away from this game. Kuro is just, it's very much an off-meta leader. But that was very cool, the way they kept tapping all the stuff down. But here's the thing. Once I untap on this next turn, if he had gone for my board, maybe he'd had a chance. But at the same time, then I would have drawn like 4 cards, right, because of all the Marcos and stuff. But if he had somehow survived or not gone for lethal this turn to like eat up my board a little bit, I'm on 10 Dawn and I have 2 Jinbes in my hand. So it's going to be, okay, play down the Jinbe, bounce back one of your dudes to your hand, and smash in for whatever's on the board. So they were definitely in a very, very tough situation. And the fact that I survived right there was no way they were going to survive next turn, because I was going to be able to play out the Jinbe and bounce back the Trafalgar Law blocker, I believe. I think it can bounce a 6 or less. Maybe it's a 5 or less. We'll look in a minute. But either way, my opponent was in large, large amounts of trouble. Okay, good game to my opponent. Good game to all my opponents. That was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and head over to the deck lists now, and we will talk about those. Okay, so we're just going to go in order. Dracula Mihawk was the first one we looked at. So this is the leader here. I'm going to go through each one of these guys. Be sure to pause and read these cards if you don't know what they do. So this is the leader, Dracula Mihawk, 5,000 power, 5 life, 7 Warlords of the Sea. Mono green leader with the effect, if your opponent's leader has the slash attribute, this leader gains plus 1,000 power, just permanently for that whole match, if your opponent's leader has slash. And then activate main once per turn. You may rest one of your cards, and if there is a character with a cost of 5 or more, set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active, then you cannot play character cards from your hand during this turn. Okay, so very similar to the Zoro style effect where you're getting this extra 3 Dawns worth. That's like a big theme in Green Zoro, but this is like a different flavor of that. Okay, we're running 4 of the Slash Searcher Perona, 4 Kashiro, 2 Tashigi, 4 of the 2K counter Dracula Mihawk, 3 Tashigis, the 4 cost 6K from EB03. Opponent's turn, this character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects and gains blocker. And like I was saying in that game, at the end of your turn, you can trash, you may rest one of your Dawn and trash a card from your hand to set this character as active. So really good stuff there. Very versatile character. Then we have 2 Arlong. This is just randomly in there to shut down leader attacks and stuff like that. This card, you know, none of, guys, remember, some of this stuff might not make the final cut. I'm just trying cards out. Okay, then we're running 4 Zoro, the Restand Zoro. Running 4 of the 2K counter Blocker Zoro from PRB02. Running 3 of the OP-14 Tashigi, which is a 5 cost 6K 1K counter character, and it has opponent's turn. If this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may rest one of your cards instead. And that is, it does not say once per turn, guys, so you can just continuously use that opponent's turn effect, unless I'm misunderstanding it. But then again, maybe opponent's turn effects might be a once per turn by default. I know like certain things like end of your turn effects are. I can't remember if opponent's turns are. And then we have activate main once per turn. You may rest 2 of your cards, and this character gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. That effect there is massive in a deck like this, because understand, even on a 5 Dawn turn, guys, even if you don't get the stage, which we're going to talk about in a minute, you go, okay, I'm just going to swing, or excuse me, I'm going to play out, or what am I talking about? I'm going to play out the Tashigi. I almost said I'm going to play out the Dracula Mihawk. No. I'm going to play out the Tashigi for 5 on a 5 Dawn turn, and then I'm going to use the leader effect to rest the Tashigi to stand 3 Dawn as active. And then I'm going to rest 2 more of the Dawn to make this Tashigi into an 8K, and then I'll swing for 6K with my leader. So really powerful interaction there. This will probably go up to a 4 of. But we're also running another 5 drop in here. 3 of this 5 cost Perona. This card was very solid in my limited testing. A 5 cost 6K 1K counter character, just like the Tashigi, but this one's a little bit different. On play, up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. Big trouble for all these 5 cost and lower blockers out there. Perona says you can't attack, you can't block. You're just locked out of the game. And then on KO, you may rest one of your cards to play up to 1 green character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So nice, way to protect the card or get something out of it, even if it gets KO'd. Running 3 Dracula Mihawks, the 8 cost, 4 of the new 9 cost Secret Dracula Mihawk, which I have not had the chance to try out just yet. It's a 9 cost 10K. On your turn, when this character is rested, up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 9 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. And remember, guys, our leader's effect can just rest cards. That could be your Dawn, your stage, your characters, whatever, right? And then we have on your opponent's attack once per turn, you may trash one card from your hand, and up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. So very solid secret rare, but I will say with the way that this deck has been playing lately, I feel like it's all about this early package of getting down this Tashigi, getting down this Zoro, Perona, and this 5-cost Tashigi as well. Very strong deck, but I still don't think this card is bad. I just don't know if we're going to be playing it. You guys tell me what y'all think with all this stuff, of course, but I really want to know what y'all think about this new 9-cost Mihawk. Is this going to be a 4 of, or is it probably better as like a 2 or a 3 of? We'll have to see. Very strong card to chain together, but again, we'll have to see what happens there. Okay, then we're running 3 of For Fun and 3 I Never Bother to Remember the Faces of Trash is the name of this event. They're both 1-cost 3Ks for your leader, and then one of them, this one here, let me do it the other way around. This one here, the 1-cost I Never Bother, is a 3-cost altogether. So pay 1, and then you may rest 2 of your cards. So pay 3 altogether. Excuse me. You may rest 2 of your cards. So it's not even a 3-cost effect. You can actually rest your, just like a stage or whatever. But either way, pay 1 and then rest 2 of your cards. Draw 1 card so it replaces itself, and then you rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 base power or less. Then we have this card For Fun, 1-cost. You may rest 3 of your cards. Again, it's not just necessarily Dawn, unless this is a mistranslation. But pay 1 and rest 3 of your cards. KO up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters with 7,000 base power or less. So these cards kind of go hand in hand, right? You pay 3 to rest a 7K, and then you pay 4 to KO a 7K. And again, you don't necessarily have to rest Dawn to do this, but still, that's kind of the idea. Okay, and then we have Coffin Boat. This is the final card in the deck, the stage Coffin Boat, which is a 1-cost on play. If your leader is Dracula Mihawk, draw a card. And end of your turn, if your leader is Dracula Mihawk, set it to one of your Dawn cards as active. So just an incredibly solid stage here for Dracula Mihawk. And that's about it for this deck, guys. I will say this one was very straightforward, felt very strong out the gate. I understand that this is not the most refined list or anything like that, so please, guys, be nice to me with the deck building. This is just a first run. We took it for a test spin, and even the way you see it here, guys, it performed pretty well, all things considered. I know people are going to be like, yeah, but you played against, who was it, Caesar Clown. Still, you know when a deck feels like it's like operating properly, and it did feel that way when I was running it. Okay, so that's it for the first deck, which was Dracula Mihawk. Let's go to the second one, which was Purple Doflamingo. All right, so Purple Doflamingo. Let's start off with the leader. 5,000 power, 5 life, mono purple leader, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Don Quixote Pirates type, with the effect on your opponent's attack. Once per turn, Dawn -1, select your leader or one of your Don Quixote Pirates type characters. Change the target of this attack to the selected card. Really, really solid effect there. Okay, and the picture just looks awesome on this one. Very, very intimidating picture there. So we're running 4 Searcher Sugars, 4 of this new Dellinger. Pause and read this card, guys. You're basically redirecting your attack to this card, and then on KO, you're getting the Dawn back that it costs to use the leader effect, and you're doing a top 5 search. So you're literally paying 1 the turn, before your opponent's next turn, right? You're paying 1 on your turn, and on your opponent's next turn, you're getting to just cancel one of your opponent's attacks, and you're doing a top 5 search in the process. It's hard to beat that. And you're not going Dawn -1, right? Because, yeah, you go Dawn -1 for this effect. This Dellinger gives you the Dawn right back. So really, really good stuff there. Running 4 Giola, this is just a 2K counter. 4 Baby 5, again, just a 2K counter. Running 4 of this new Sugar from OP-14. 4 costs 1K with a 1K counter. The stats are weird, right? But it's meant to be a card to redirect your attacks to. On play, you ramp a Dawn. And then on KO, if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn cards on the field, play up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates type character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay, and we have a lot of solid 5-cost targets we're about to go over. 3 Senior Pinks, 4 Don Quixote Rosinantes, and 4 of this new Monet. This card, I know I read it during the game, but 5 cost 6K, 1K counter, on play, ramp a Dawn, and then on KO, draw 2, trash 1, ramp 2 Dawn. So yes, you are giving up a body in the process if you choose to, like, redirect an attack to this. But think about it. That's one less hit you had to take. You're going to get to fix your hand now with the draw 2 trash one, and you're getting 2 Dawn. So this card is just outstanding, and this is yet another card we can potentially cheat out with something like this Sugar here, right? Okay, so next up we have this 8-cost Doflamingo with all these incredible 5-cost targets in the deck. This card is a MVP, and now we have a follow-up purple Doflamingo in the 10-cost 10K, which has on play Dawn -3, choose one. If your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less, and then up to 3 of your, or up to 3 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you see what's going on there, guys? It's a 10-cost 10K. It is a Dawn -3, which is brutal, but being able to lock down 3 attacks potentially or KO an 8 or less, very, very strong card. And then we're running 4 Everwhite, which is a 1-cost 3K, but you have an activate main here to rest 2 of your Dawn, and if your leader is Don Quixote Pirates type, you can add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So it's a 1-cost 3K or a 3-cost Dawn ramp, really solid utility here. Running 2 Hell's Judgment just to help out against like the go wide type of decks. And same thing with Nora Beam Sword, being able to rest down characters. Incredible card here, running 3 of these. And then we're running 3 Bullet String, which is a 2-cost Dawn -1 counter that has, if your leader's Doflamingo, or excuse me, if your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, up to one of your leaders or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle, then that card gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. So if you're going against a deck that's trying to go super wide and just attack you down, I got bad news for them. When they attack in the first time, you're going to get out of it probably for free because you're going to go up to 9,000 power, but then you're going to go up to 7,000 for the rest of the turn, which is a nightmare for the aggro decks. So this was, I think, out of all the decks that I've played so far, guys, out of all the 7 different decks, and again, I know it's on limited testing, there's better deck lists to be used out there and all that stuff, and we have to wait for everything to get put on the sim. But out of everything I've tested so far, this leader has by far been the most, most complete out of all of them. Next up, we're going to talk about Red Trafalgar Law. That one had the opposite effect on me, where that one felt the most incomplete, but Purple Doflamingo feels just finished out of the box kind of thing, right? Especially from the cards from before, you know, from all the way back in OP-10 with Sugar, and when we got this Doflamingo and this Rosinante. It's like you just add all the stuff we had before to the new stuff, like this Doflamingo here, the Sugar, this Dellinger, and this Monet with this leader, and yeah, this deck seems like it's firing on all cylinders already. Okay, now let's go ahead and check out the next one, which is Red Trafalgar Law. Alright, starting off with the leader, Trafalgar Law is a mono red, 5,000 power, 5 life, 7 Warlords, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type leader with the effect activate main once per turn, select 2 of your Supernovas or Heart Pirates type characters, swap the base power of the selected characters with, I can't even talk right now, guys, sorry. Swap the base power of the selected characters with each other during this turn. Okay, so running through the list real quick, I've got a lot to talk about with this list, guys. Hold your horses. I know people are asking immediately, where's Luffy? Where's the 1-cost SR Luffy? We'll talk about in a second. So we're running 4 Basil Hawkins, which is on KO, top 5. You do a top 5 search for a Supernova character other than Basil Hawkins with 2,000 power or less, and you can play it rested. So you can play it straight to the field rested. This card was okay. Again, we'll talk more about this stuff in a minute. Cavendish is solid. 2-cost, 2K, 1K counter. If this character has 5,000 power or more, this character gains Rush. Remember what the effect of the leader is, guys. We can just swap out the power real quick and swing in. Shashi and Penguin and Beppo were more like utility choices here. We're running 4 of each of those. They're both utility, where if they have 5,000 power or more, they're both worded in the same way. Beppo can give 2 Rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters, and Shashi and Penguin can give minus 2,000 power to a character for the turn. Okay, then we're running 2 Zoro, 4 2K counter Luffy, 2 Kid and Killer, 4 Tony Chopper, or Tony Chopper, the 2K counter blocker, 4 Eustace Kid. This card was solid. It's a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter and blocker, and it has on play if your leader has the Supernova type. Play up to 1 red character card with 2,000 power or less from your hand. So this allows you to cheat out some of these smaller characters really easily. Running 3 X-Drake. Guys, 5 cost 7k. Opponent's turn. If your Supernova's type characters would be removed. Did I read that right? If your Supernova's type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may give your leader minus 2,000 power during this turn instead. And then we have Dawn times 1. When attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. I was running 3 of these. Might go down to 2. We'll talk more about it in a second. But it was solid. The card was fine. It's a nice 5 cost 7k. So when you play this down, you can buff up your little characters from the turn before and make them swing for 7. It's just massive. Then we have 3 of this 6 cost Trafalgar Law from PRB02. We have 2 of the 7 cost Zoro from PRB14, or excuse me, from OP-14. This one has Rush, and when attacking, minus 1,000 power to a character for the turn. 4 of the new 9 cost Law. This card's really good, guys. In my testing, this has been very solid. 9 cost 10k with Rush, and then on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may trash 2 cards from your hand, and then select one of your opponent's characters. Swap the base power of the selected character with the base power of your leader during this battle. So, in other words, unless they're attacking for 5,000 into a 5,000, then you're basically just canceling that attack out. You know, if they're attacking for 15k, it doesn't matter because you're just going to swap them. Now, it does swap the base power, to be fair, so that is something to really consider. But at the same time, you know, it's just a really, really strong effect there. Then we're running 2 Radical Beams, and 4, I have a plan to take down one of the 4 Emperors. So, guys, when I was building this deck, so there's a card that's missing, right? Let's go to OP-14. Hang on. Did I just mess something up? OP-14. There we go. So, hopefully I didn't just mess anything up over here with the sound. No, I think we're good. So these are the new cards, and there's a specific card that I was not running. There's a few cards I was not running. I did not run Shambles. Pause and read this card if you want to know what it does. And I was not running this card, Time for the Counterattack. Pause and read what this card does if you want to know what that one does. So then this Luffy. Now this is the one card that I actually wanted to run, but there's a few things I didn't like about this, because at first I was running the 5 cost Luffy in here, this unblockable, which I think is probably worth running, and maybe even this Luffy right here, even though it's just a 4 Emperors and Straw Hat card. You can't swap the power around with that card with this effect. It can only do Supernovas and Heart Pirates. There's so much craziness going on with all the different types of Luffys. It was kind of annoying. And, you know, speaking of that, let's go back to OP-14 real quick. So, this card, Luffy, he can search up. So, let me just read what the card does. 1 cost, 0 power, 1k counter character. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Supernova's type card other than Monkey D. Luffy and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. The card is fine, and the card is actually very solid. But I will say this. It was just kind of annoying to me. I'm going to use that word over and over again. I don't like how there's certain things that are not like lining up with the deck. Like, for example, if I was running this card, so I can only search up Supernova cards, right? So that means I can't search up, let me see something. I can search up the Cavendish. I can't search up the Shashin Penguin. I can't search up the Beppo. I can search up Zoro, but I can't search up Luffy because he's Luffy. They have the same name or whatever. And then I can't even search up this Trafalgar Law because he's not a Supernova's type Trafalgar Law. I don't know what's going on there with the types, guys. It just annoys me. I'm not going to lie. I also can't search up this Radical Beam. But if I'm running this, card, I have a plan to take down one of the 4 Emperors. This gives me a little bit more searchability. That's why I was running it. But let me say this right now, guys. After further testing, I still think this Monkey D. Luffy needs to be the card in the deck. It's a character, first of all, that you're establishing if you're going first. And that's actually the single most important part, if I'm being honest. Because you're putting down a character right on turn 1, and then on turn 2, you could follow up with something like this Zoro, and now you're swinging for 5, and then 5, and then 5. And you can do all kinds of stuff with that, reducing the power of their character if needed. And then if they attack into this card, who cares? Or you could save it for later. You could play this out later. There's a lot more options you could do with this, and it has a 1k counter over the event. So again, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to figure these decks out as I go. We're learning on the fly right now. But I will say this card will almost 99% make the final cut. I just don't like how there's so many inconsistencies within this deck. I'm fine when a deck does not build itself out of the box like what we've seen with something like Emu or something like that. But at the same time, I do like when there's a little bit more chemistry and synergy in the deck. So, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. All right, now let's move on to the final deck. So that was Red Law. Now we have Blue Jinbe. Okay, there we go. So this is Jinbe. Let me clear this out real quick. Actually, we will bring up the blue OP-14 cards. Notice there's not a lot of blue OP-14 cards in the sim just yet, which, you know, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. Like, red had this many, green had this many, blue has this many. Here's purple. Whoops, purple had this. Purple's a little bit different, though, right? Because there was so much support from OP-10 or whatever it was. Black had quite a few cards of support in here, and then yellow had quite a few as well. I think it's blue and red. No, actually, blue and green. Blue and green have, like, the least amount of support other than purple, but like I said, that has so much previous support. So this is kind of all the support we had to work with for OP-14 so far for blue. But let's go ahead and run through the list real quick and talk about it. So Jinbe, mono blue, 5,000 power, 5 life. Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Sun Pirates type leader with the effect activate main, trash 1 card from your hand, and then give up to 2 rested Dawn card to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type leaders or characters. And the picture looks awesome. This is one of my more, this is one of my favorite pictures of Jinbe. I think it looks really cool. Other than the 8 cost we'll talk about in a minute. This might be my favorite picture of Jinbe. Okay, so we're going to run through the list, guys. Be sure to pause and read what each one does. Running 4 Arlong. This is an on play if your leader's Fishman Pirate, or excuse me, if your leader's Fishman type, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the cost of 2 or more, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. This is a very strong searcher for Jinbe. Very, very strong searcher. Then we have Chew, 1 cost 3k, just does a top, just draws a card. Doesn't do a search at all. If your leader has a Fishman type, draw 1 card. So 1 cost 3k, replaces itself immediately. Really, really good stuff here. Next up is this Watatsumi. We're running 4 of these. This is just a searchable 2k counter. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's just a 2k counter. Running 4 Arlong. This is from all the way back in Block 2. It's promo 048. We will talk about this for a second. It's a 3 cost 4k with a 1k counter, and it has Dawn ×1 when attacking. If you have 4 or more cards in your life area, your opponent places 1 card from their hand to the bottom of their deck. So it's just a cool little way to annoy your opponent, and it does go well with this Shirahoshi we'll talk about in a second. Running 3 Charlotte Pudding. Running 4 Shirahoshi. 4 cost 0 power 1k counter blocker. On play, draw a card. So it has draw a card effect just like this Chew, but then it also has then play up to 1 Fishman or Merfolk type character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So we can play out any of these other cards we just talked about other than Pudding. Okay? And so we're running 4 of these. Running 4 Marco. 4 cost 6k blocker, draw 2 on KO. Seems good. 3 Yamato. 3 Jozu. Running 4 Fisher Tiger. 6 cost 7k with a 1k counter. On play, if your leader has the Fishman type, draw 3 cards. Yeah. Just a good old-fashioned, flat-out draw 3. And then end of your turn, you have to trash cards from your hand until you have 5 cards in your hand. Now, understand what that means. Consider, the implications here. That end of your turn effect is permanent. So that means at the end of all of your future turns. Like at the end of the turn you're on and all future turns. But with the way that our leader's effect works, we can trash cards very, very consistently, we'll say. Okay, so running 4 of these. 4 of the new 8 cost Jinbe. Let's read this real quick. 8 cost 10k. When a card is trashed from your hand by your effect, this character gains rush during this turn. And then on play, you may rest 2 of your Dawn cards. Draw 2 cards. Okay? Then return up to 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand. Okay, I thought it was a 5 or a 6. Actually returns a 7. That is really good. But the main idea is this. They made this card where it's very easy to chain together. So I can go Jinbe, right on 8 Dawn, trash a card from my hand, buff my leader by 2,000, attach 2 rested Dawn to my leader, swing for 7, swing for 10. Next turn, on a 10 Dawn turn, I can follow up with another Jinbe, resting my 2 final Dawn, drawing 2 cards, trashing a card, and now we're coming in for 7, 10, 10. So this card is really solid, guys. This is really a strong finisher. Okay, then we're running 3 of this event here called Please Take Me With You. I Can Be of Great Help to You. This is a 1-cost main. If your leader's Jinbe and you have 2 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. I was not impressed by this card. I think it's kind of, I don't know. We'll have to see. Tell me what you guys think about this card in the comment section below. At first, I'm definitely going to go down to 2 of these cards. Like in future versions of the deck, I think I'm going to go down to 2 of these, if not drop it completely. The trigger is return up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. The trigger's fine, but the main effect there, I don't want to have 2 cards in my hand. If I'm going down to 2 cards in hand, I'm probably being too greedy with my Jinbe. Because look at what I'm running here, guys. Look at this. This card replaces itself. This card replaces itself. The Shirahoshi replaces itself, but it does cheat out another character. Marco replaces itself on KO. Yamato replaces itself immediately. Goes +1 technically if I have 3 or less life. And then we have this Fisher Tiger. Yeah, again, guys, if you're getting this low in hand size, I'm not sure what you're doing. You know, maybe you're playing a bit too aggressive. Then we're running 4 of this 2-cost event here called Ocean Current Shoulder Throw. This is a 2-cost event. It has counter, draw 1 card, then up to one of your leaders gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So it's a 2-cost 3K, but it draws a card to replace itself. And then it has a main effect. Whoops, sorry guys. You may rest 3 of your Dawn cards, so 5 Dawn altogether. Play up to 1 Fishman type character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Then return up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 base power to the owner's hand. So basically for 5 Dawn, you can cheat out a 3-cost or lower character. It does have to be a Fishman type character, and then you can bounce a 6,000 base power character to your opponent's hand. It doesn't say with 6,000 base power or less. I don't like that very much. Either way, it's a decent 2-cost 3K counter that has added utility, so it's not too bad. And then, of course, we're running 2 Gum Gum Red Rocks. You know, whenever you're making a blue deck, you probably should just run some of these cards now. Like Red Rock, Pudding, and Marco, those are almost generic blue staples at this point. And then in some situations, so is Yamato and Jozu. So those kind of just find their way into every blue deck at this point. It's almost like they're just too good to not run, no matter what you're building. And that ends up being 3, 6, 10... basically 15 cards that came pre-built for whatever blue deck is, you know, going forward. We'll have to see. Well, that's it, guys. Tell me what y'all think. Just to kind of do a quick overview, I think Jinbe felt very strong. This deck felt like a really solid bruiser style build. I did like what was going on with this leader, and they had a lot of card draw going on. Now we're going to go backwards. So to Red Law, this deck felt very incomplete, and I know, guys, we could have made some adjustments. Let me get this out of the way. I know we could make way better adjustments in the future to make this deck more optimal, especially as we see more of the cards come out from OP-14 on the sim. But either way, it felt incomplete, but it did still feel like it had a lot of potential. Let me say that right now. Okay, and then what was the second one was Purple Doffy. Guys, this deck just felt solid. This one gets an A+. This leader gets an A+, guys. Felt very, very good. I had very limited testing so far, of course, but just the way that it felt, to pilot this leader in this deck, thumbs up. Okay, and then last but not least, we had Green Mihawk. Same idea here as with Purple Doflamingo. There was a lot of previous support for this leader, so it did feel pretty seamless. Like I just, you know, queued up the game. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what's going on here. Feels very, very solid. All right, I'm done, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro page on here. Thank you to everybody who made it this far. I really appreciate you guys. Hey, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, or using my TCG Player affiliate link, you're helping me out big time. Or if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time. Peace.